In today's video, we're diving into things today, taking a look at some major activity, honestly, for the deep south into the southeast and up into some of the mid-Atlantic, where we're looking at maybe 1, 2, or even 3 inches above average as far as precipitation over the next 15 days, or the final half of July, in other words. Also taking a look at some severe weather opportunities across the northern plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and into the Northeast. So we do have basically everywhere east of the Rockies seeing a ton of activity. Let's dive into things, and as we take a look at tomorrow afternoon, what we're seeing here by Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon, is kind of the beginning of this southeast activity. We do have a little bit of isolated and scattered about activity here from Louisiana, taking it eastward all the way to Florida and northward all the way to Virginia. We see this kind of triangle of activity there really taking hold. We do see that there's a couple of low pressure systems here across eastern Canada and the central states. This is going to work as a trifecta of activity and overall broad low pressure across this entire corner of the continent. Now, as you can see, this is leading towards a lot of thunderstorm activity and showers across the southern Rockies and central Rockies, the central and northern plains there, and then even across the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and portions of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast here. Now, as we can see, by the time we reach Wednesday on July 17th, what we're seeing here is that a lot of this dives southward as we see a cold front moving through. So we do expect colder temperatures around this time frame for midweek this week. We will take a look at the temperatures in just a little bit, but we can clearly see where this cold front is impacting areas here with a low up here in eastern Canada. So do expect colder temperatures on the way and a lot of activity along that boundary. So again, this is for Wednesday, July 17th. Lots of thunderstorms across some of the Four Corner states, southern plains, some of the Midwest here, the deeper south, the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Northeast, you name it. I mean, everywhere in here seeing activity. Some darker areas, though, will be this kind of Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic area, and then some of the Four Corner states and surrounding regions. As we move towards Thursday here on the 18th, what we're seeing is more and more activity here across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, this kind of deeper south and southeast area that we're going to be watching closely for some significant flooding opportunities, especially, and I talked about this yesterday a lot, so bear with me, but especially when you tack this on top of what we saw last week. That's going to be the biggest concern here. And as we take a look at Friday, we see things just continue to really pour on, no pun intended. I mean, we see for Texas all the way through the southeast, more and more thunderstorms and showers, pretty persistent rainfall through here. This isn't going to be just spotty stuff. This looks like it's going to be pretty persistent, unfortunately. This continues on through Saturday the 20th, believe it or not. So we see a continued heavy rainfall event lasting now from Wednesday through Saturday at least, which is going to be multiple days, of course, of dreary weather and colder weather. We do see there is some activity across the Four Corner states and the plains and Midwest, despite a very high pressure system there across Colorado. Pretty interesting. As we move towards Sunday the 21st, you guessed it, we see continued activity from the deeper south into the southeast. And we actually see a separate pocket of activity really spreading now for the Four Corner states and the plains. So more thunderstorm chances for these pockets as well, going to be on the way. But the southeast is staying much the same of what we've seen now almost for a week. By Monday the 23rd, we see that we are on like day 5 or 6 of this happening. So from Texas, Louisiana, you take it through the Gulf states and southeast states up into the southern mid-Atlantic. We have tons of activity still ongoing. Four Corner states and plains also seeing a pretty extended rainfall event here, as you can see, as this is still ongoing by that Monday time frame. Let's take this towards Tuesday the 23rd. One day away from being a week, and we still see that the deeper south up through the southeast and mid-Atlantic is still seeing some showers and thunderstorms around with really limited activity outside of this region. Wednesday makes it officially a week for some folks that have seen activity day over day over day for this area, kind of quieting down near the southeast coast, thankfully, for the first time in, again, a week. But for a lot of areas, this has been going on that long. And we do get a little bit of Thursday here where it looks like things have backed off quite a bit. But for some areas, still seeing some thunderstorm chances. As we take a look here at the total precipitation here through the next 10 days, we do see that there is below average amounts here for a lot of the west, near average amounts here for a lot of the northeast and through kind of the Great Lakes, Midwest, Northern Plains and Northern Rockies, the Four Corner States, and even the Southern Plains and Central Plains there. It's really this southeast corner of the nation where we're looking at the best chance for above average activity. The reds being 2 to 6 inches, the browns being 6 to 10. So we do see kind of a strip here where we get especially high amounts potentially in that brown. So this is significant. I mean, 6 inches, and we saw 2, 3, or even 4 for some areas, maybe even more last week. So you're talking about maybe 10 inches plus for some folks over just the past, between last week and this week. So over the past 15 days, once this is all said and done, that's going to be huge, obviously. As we take a look at the tropics, a quick tropics update, then I'm going to dive back into some ensemble guidance for the southeast activity, and we will take a look at the severe weather at the end, of course. As we take a look, we do see just continued waves here coming off of Africa. This particular model run doesn't show any development for the most part, but we do see that this MDR region, which is short for main development region here, as I try to draw with this pen, it's a little hard. MDR there. We usually see these waves originate off of Africa, and they cross the Atlantic here. And they usually get to about this point at least, and then they either curve out to sea. Sometimes they go in between Bermuda and the United States, still out to sea. Sometimes they hit the East Coast. Sometimes they go into the Southern Caribbean and die out. Or one of what we've seen recently is they go into the Gulf and cause a lot of activity there. So you can see that these waves that start in Africa, really the possibilities are almost endless for what happens. So we watch for these very closely, and it's very normal to see a lot. Not this time of year, but it is normal to see a lot. Once we're in August and September timeframe. Let's just get this going. We do see some, stronger waves like that one right there south of Cape Verde Islands there. We do see that there is a pretty significant system. Doesn't really develop too much though, and it does dissipate. We get another one just like it there, as you can see. Another one, and then another one. But none of these really make it past into the Caribbean. They kind of die out. So I'll be curious to see what ends up happening, but the more of these we see, the more chance of something coming through and obviously developing. Right now, the Saharan dust is the real problem. We're in the heart of the Saharan dust season, but once we reach August time frame, that's when that usually starts to die down, and it's really going to be open season for these systems. Now, as we take a look at our 15-day precipitation anomalies here from the European ensemble model, we see that we have below average precipitation across a lot of the north, expected over the next 15 days, and even Florida seeing near normal to below normal amounts here despite the heavy precipitation. They need a lot to be at average, but we see from Texas eastward up to kind of the Delmarva, we see this pocket here seeing above average precipitation in the greens, anywhere from about 0.1 inches all the way up to 2 inches. The blues are going to be 2 to 5 inches above average, so your average for a 15-day period this time of year might be 1 or 2 inches. When you see 2 to 5 above that 2 inches, that's getting a little ridiculous. So we are seeing far above average precipitation, especially in these blue areas, but really the green areas are going to see more activity than typical is what's expected. So this little strip here is kind of the main area to watch as of now. Now, as we look at the temperature anomalies, we see that, again, I'm going to switch the model run actually because it's a little incomplete right now. But what we see by Wednesday, Thursday is that cold front coming through. We get cooler temperatures really extending all the way into that next week. We see it kind of receding, but really by late that week, and we don't see it end until that next week, Monday the 29th and beyond. And even then, there's still some cold trying to fight back here across the deeper south. So might not get as hot as it's been for a while at least. We're going to be watching very closely, of course, though. Let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks for the next couple of days here. And we do see that almost the entire United States is covered in at least the light green here, which is our general thunderstorm risk area where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible. So be sure to heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The two dark green areas is your level 1 marginal risk where we do expect isolated severe weather to occur. So that is where we watch for that. The yellow area is your level 2 slight risk where we usually watch for scattered about severe weather. We do have 3 of those today. And then your level 3 enhanced risk there across the Midwest and Great Lakes is going to be your level 3 enhanced risk where we expect widespread severe weather to begin to be possible in there. Again, that's for today on Monday, July 15th. Let's move towards day 2, which we're going to see load in here, Tuesday, July 16th. And what we see is, again, a very large general thunderstorm risk area once again in the lighter green. 2 marginal risk areas again in the darker greens, and then 2 slight risks this time around, one for the plains, one for the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and that is going to be again the hot spots for some scattered about severe weather for tomorrow. On Wednesday, July 17th, as of now, we have a very large general thunderstorm risk and then a very small one there across Washington and Oregon. 2 marginal risks there, one for the mid-Atlantic and northeast and one for the plains, and that's about it as of now. Let me check for any extended day outlooks here, just because I haven't checked in a while, and there is none. So that is it for this video, guys. Be sure to subscribe. I do upload every single day. I will be keeping you guys up to date with all of these things. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.